It's a rainy day today. Let's see what I keep in my bag. Hey guys, I'm Bear. Thanks for tuning in to the Mr. Bear channel. Okay guys, so this is my everyday carry bag. Basically just a Walmart special real tree. It's done well for me. I've had it for quite a few years now. I'm all about being inexpensive. Now one thing that is not in the bag, and I don't carry it in the bag, I carry it in my truck along with my bag. I use this every day. Well, not every day, but several times a week I use this. I'm all the time cutting brush. It keeps a very good edge, and it's easy to get an edge back on it whenever it does get a little dull. But as you can see, it doesn't dimple, it doesn't ripple. I've used this so many times now. I've had other machetes that just wasn't near as good. I got through a small sapling and it was just so dinged and dented up. So whenever you are going with a machete, try to get a very good quality machete. Any type of cutting tool, you definitely need to pay a little extra and get that good quality. This is a Corona, and it does very well. This is my favorite one. I don't use the saw up here because I've got other types of saws that I use, and I've not had to use this saw out in the field. But I'm sure that it would work. Not very good. Not very sure how well it would work because the teeth are really straight. There's hardly any offset to it. But the blade works very well. I have chopped down a lot of brush, a lot of little saplings, and I couldn't recommend this one anymore. Corona. Works real good. All right, moving on. Now this is just my everyday carry knife. As you can see, the little clip has broken off of it. I love this knife. I won't get rid of it. The little name plate has come off of it, but that blade is so tough. I can strike my fire steel. I can do just about everything. I have just destroyed this knife, but it always comes right back. It's very tough. As you can see, I mean, it's really, the locking mechanism is just amazing. I love it. It's heavy duty. I've had a lot of lighter weight knives, and I really won't recommend them. This is all I use right here for everyday carry. This is always on my belt. Took it off for the video's sake. It's just an Ozark Trail. I'm not big on Ozark Trail because I have destroyed many Ozark Trail things. But this little multi-tool has done me well. I use it quite a bit. It's not the big one, it's the small one, but I've not had a problem with it. Of course, it's got all of the little attachments here. The knife has got a decent edge on it. This thing here, the file is pretty good. So I've used this quite a bit on a daily basis, weekly basis. I guess the most thing I've used would be the little cutters inside here. I cut a lot of wire repairing fences, and works really well. So I would definitely buy another, maybe even a larger one to put in my larger pack. Now understand, this in no way is my bug out bag. This is my EDC. I have this with me every day. Just stuff that I carry that I feel I would need if I need to get home, if I have problems. So I've got stuff in here simply for that. This is not, if it hits the fan, that's not the bag that I've got to take. Okay? So another thing I always carry is my bandana. Maybe a different color, who knows. But I always keep one with me, wiping sweat. Might put it on my wrist just to wipe my sweat as I'm going along. So we'll put this over here and we'll get into the bag. Now here I've just got a little bracelet, paracord. I really don't care for this little, it's a very cheap made little clasp, but this was given to me, so I just kind of clipped it on here. I always keep an extra pair of sunglasses on here. They're also safety glasses. Definitely need those. If you're going through the woods, you ever got poked in the eye, you know you've got to have some eye protection. In my larger bag, I also have clear safety glasses. I'm going to be doing a video on my larger bag in the future. But like I said, this one is just my EDC. Alright. So over here, I have another bandana here. And just a cotton old piece of t-shirt. These things work great. It is perfect for filtering, for covering your face with dust or smoke or whatever. This thing has so many uses, it's just not even funny. You've got to have something like this in your bag. And I know I'm one that says you have to make your bag that suits you, but I'm telling you, you know, some of this stuff, everyone's bag really needs it, you know. So, something to think about. Also, a pair of gloves here. I have a couple more pair in my truck that I carry, and I have another set in here that I'll show you. These are mainly for working. They have grips on them. I about wore these out. I'm gonna have to get another pair very soon. I do a lot of cutting with these, but they're really good. They're not that warm. That's not what they're made for. They're Rockies, but they're really good gloves. They've been through a lot. They've really been through a lot. So let's get in here. Front pocket. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I've just got a little bit more paracord from a broken paracord bracelet, but I figure I'll keep that. It doesn't take up any room, really. So here's my little headlamp. It works very well. Keep the batteries charged. They last a very, very long time. It has two different settings, and then it's got the flasher, so that would be great for signaling. It's very lightweight, comfortable. Wore this quite a bit. It's got me through out of some pretty sticky situations in the dark. Alright, here I just have an extra do-rag. This material, once it gets wet, it pulls the heat away from your head, and it feels very cool. So this is great for the summertime. And for the wintertime, I have a little beanie here, or toboggan, whichever one you call it. I call it a toboggan, actually. And a face mask, neoprene. Now this is the black side. I also have the skull side. I wore this whenever I used to ride a couple of years ago. A lot of road time. People always freak out when they hear your bike and see the skull coming up behind them. All right. we'll get into the main deal. So of course, you've got to have some munchies. Now I keep these in here, and I'll actually eat these during the week while I'm working. Just kind of munch on them every now and then I just replenish, buy another bag. I actually have another bag sitting over on my end table. They're just really, really good to munch on. These are cars, and they last a long time. Of course, I don't really let them last because I always replenish them. I don't want to just throw them in there and leave them. But like I said, this bag I use on a daily basis. So I've always got that. So if anything were to happen, I have some food. Sometimes I have some crackers in here. Usually have a drink, a water bottle. Now here's my medical kit. And I use this quite a bit. I'm always having to restock this simply because with my work, I'm always cutting myself, scratching myself, you know, always something. Because I work with a lot of different tools and I work outside, and let's do a lot of cutting trees and brush. So we'll get inside here real quick. Now some of this stuff is for being out in the wilderness, or just stuff that I use here. But I have super glue. Can't go without that. You get a big cut, nasty cut, and you just super glue her back together. And I have the Ace bandage. That works pretty well. It's Velcro. I don't really like the ones with the little metal tabs. I'd much rather have the Velcro. It works. It's so much easier to reset if you get it too tight or too loose. I have some ibuprofen in a little baggie here, because nobody likes a headache. Then I've just got some of this wrap. As you can tell, I use it quite a bit just for wrapping up a finger that's cut or whatever. A little pair of scissors. Never know if you need to cut some gauze and tape it in there. Of course, I have some of these. There's so many uses for these that is not even funny. They're super absorbent. You can use them as fire starter. But I think I'm going to switch to the smaller ones because these take up a lot of space, and there's no real reason to have them with this little applicator thing. So I might as well get those much smaller ones. Now I have all kinds of ointments in here. Triple antibiotic ointment. That's a must. Burn gel. Now this is great for whenever you mess up and grab your pot out of the fire without putting your glove on. You definitely need this. I have some alcohol prep pads. In here I've got some, what is this called? Hydrocortisone cream. Now this is really good because it will take the burn, but it also takes itchiness, bug bites. This stuff just works really well for many different things. Now I have a lighter in here with some duct tape around it. This is T-Rex tape because I like that. It is really, really tough tape. Sometimes I'll use Gorilla Tape, just whichever one is cheapest at the time. A good pair of tweezers, not those little ones that you get in some of these little survival packs, but an actual pair of good sturdy tweezers, because when you're out there, you're camping, or you're just doing a survival weekend, or even if you're just out working, cutting trees or whatever, you definitely are going to get splinters, and so you need some really good tweezers to get them things out. I have a lot of thorns around here. I actually still have one in my finger now, but I got multiple different types of band-aids and gauze pads. So that right there is the gist of my first aid kit. And as I said, I use it all the time, so I only put in there what I actually need or feel like I may need. You know, I don't have EpiPen in here. I don't have any type of ivy lotion or anything like that, because I'm coming home with this bag, you know, unless something really major happens. And I've got all that other stuff here and in my bigger bag. And I know I rely on the bigger bag quite a bit, but and you never know what's going to happen. But see, I work right here at home. I live where I work, so therefore coming by here, grabbing my bigger bag, that's not an issue for me. For some other people, it may be. You might need a much bigger bag than what I have. And the thing about a bag, a go bag, a 72-hour bag, or even a full-on SHTF bag, bug out bag, you know, you've got to design it to you, to your needs. Not everybody has the same needs. You know what you need, you know what you like, and what works best for you. So you have to go through and you've got to do that yourself. You can't just somebody tell you everything that you're supposed to have in your bag, and if you don't have it, then you're wrong. You know, it's not like that. You have to design your bag for you. You know, I mean, you need the essentials, of course, but still yet design it around you. Of course, I've done a video on these. These are my cleats because I use them weekly. And, you know, if you're going hunting, if you are carrying a loaded weapon or a sharp weapon, you don't want to slip and fall. You do not want to go down. I mean, you could shoot yourself, you can cut yourself, you can stab yourself. Even if you don't have anything in your hands, if there's a little, you know, a stick or something, that could definitely do some damage to you. So these are really, really good to have. Once they're in the pouch and in here, they don't make noise. If you're worried about this jingling or whatever, nobody's going to hear you coming with these inside your bag. All right. Now here's my survival knife. This knife right here, I've had it now for approximately 6 years. Love this knife. I have done so much with it, and I cannot destroy it. It is a Schrade Extreme Survival. It's a bit heavy. I'm not going to lie there, it's a bit heavy, but it has this hammer end with the claw other side. Now, one reason I like this is because if I'm in an urban area and something happens, I've got that. I can bust windows with it. I can use it as a blunt weapon if I'm not trying to cut someone. But the blade itself is super, super tough. I can baton with this. Very, very comfortable hand grip. It's not slick, it's rubberized. I've not had any problems with it whatsoever. I mean, it's full tang. It's very, very nice knife. I love it. But I've not used this. Haven't had the need to. But I've done a lot of cutting with it. It's just a very nice knife. The sheath is super high quality. It's very tough. Has a plastic inner layer here that this knife slides down into. Has this little snap thingy here. It goes right on your belt like most sheaths do. Now up here in this pocket, I carry, if I can get to them, okay, I carry matches and a striker, okay? And I just put them in a little cellophane, sealed them up with a lighter, and that way they stay good and dry inside here. And there's really no moving around. Nothing can harm them or cut that open, so they're going to stay good and dry inside there. And the other thing I carry is just a small pocket knife because I like redundancy. But this is also very good for carving. It's very dirty. I've not used this very much, honestly. But it does have a really good blade on it, even though this is a cheapy pocket knife. So I should probably, and what I'm thinking about doing, I'm thinking of just replacing this in here with a small wet rock. Simply because I need a small wet rock in there. The wet rock I have is fairly large. And I don't carry it in here because I use it at home and it works so much, so I don't carry it in there. But I will be getting one. This is my fire starting kit. And I'm going to probably get a lot of comments about this because, you know, not doing it the right way. But as I said, you've got to design your bag to suit you, okay? This right here is a tin. It's full of regular kitchen matches. And you just really can't get in there to it. So that'll be a problem, huh? Okay. So I have regular kitchen matches in here. And I've also got a Q-tip for some tinder, a couple of little small pieces of paper down in there. That will just help start a fire. You know, you've got to make sure you've got dry tinder to get it going. Once you get it going, then you could put really small stuff. If it's a bit damp, put that on top. The flame will dry it out and you'll be fine. Just grow it gradually. Now what else I have in here? I have a Bic lighter, another Bic lighter with more duct tape on here. Now what I like to use for tinder, a lot of people, they get the dry grass or the dry stuff and they put it in their pouch and that's what they use. I use dryer lint and a little bit of paper. You know, you can always get dryer lint. I've got tons of it. So I keep that, little bit of that in here, and a little bit goes a long way, along with a little bit of paper. I've got another Bic lighter right here and with more tape on it. So I've got that part covered. I know I'm not using a ferro rod, but I've got one of those, as I'll show you in my bigger bag, because that would be more long term. For the short term that I plan to use this bag, I don't believe 2 lighters and all these matches are going to go bad. And I know bad weather can cause that stuff to not work. Good weather can help this work. I can use this with the sun. And it works really well with that dryer lint. That stuff just lights right up. But, I mean, if you want to use some dried grass or weeds or whatever, that works too. If your stuff's wet all around, just light this up, set it underneath there, put some stuff on top of it, that'll dry it right out, and then you've got a fire. I usually keep one of these in there, but I've hardly ever had to use a candle because that just works so well. So you just find what works best for you. You know, I'm not a bushcrafter. I'm not gonna make a bow drill every time that I need to make a fire. I'm just going to strike my Bic lighter to some dry tinder and get going with it. You know, that's just, if in a long-term situation, if I need to use a ferro rod, I'll use a ferro rod. But as long as I can, I'm going to use matches and lighters. All right. So here I've got a stainless steel container that I can put water in, I can put food in, I can boil it. It's got a nice little lid that's really tight. But another thing I have is I keep an extra pair of socks down inside there. Simply because they fit perfectly and that's a good place to keep them. So I'll just pop those right back in there. I do plan to put a hole in here with maybe a little wire, because, you know, it'd be good to just be able to set it in and then pull it right back out. This right here fits my bag very well, and I wouldn't be using it for a long period of time. So I usually use just a regular water bottle, but I usually take water with me whenever I go camping. So I don't really have to do too much with this. It's nice to drink out of, and it's nice to eat out of sometimes, or put food in and then throw it in my bag and go on about the rest of my journey for the weekend. Here I have a saw. It's like a folding saw, but it doesn't fold. I actually found this saw here where I work, and it actually works pretty well. It needs to be cleaned up. It's a little bit rusty around here and the blade itself. However, it does cut pretty well. It's got the big teeth, it's got small teeth, they're offset. It's really, really sharp. So far this has done really well. I plan to take it out, be doing a 3-night bug out situation, and I plan to take this with me just to make sure that it's going to hold up. You know, I've just cut a few little things with this. I want to go see just how well this does. So this doesn't even have a name brand on it, so I know it's not nearly as good as the bigger name brand, and I would like to have a folding saw to put in my my larger bag. But for now, I think this one's going to work. Another pair of gloves. Now these are thicker. This is for colder weather. And also put these on just like this right here. Grab that right out of the fire and set it right there, you know. And that way I'm not burning myself, and I won't have to use that burn cream. But these are really good. These are, hold on, these are Real Tree. I really don't know the, oh, Huntworth with the Real Tree pattern. Sorry about that. Those are really good. They're very comfortable, and they're really warm, but if they get wet, they're not waterproof. Here is another light that I have, and it works really well. Can't really do it with one hand. Now it has a dial on the back that that will go lighter and darker, and it's really nice. It's a Godox LED 36. Real nice. The batteries seem to last forever in this. I get the Energizer Extras or something like that, maybe lithium. I'm not exactly sure. Now whenever I first got into survival, this was given to me as a gift, and of course I love all gifts, so it was given to me as a gift, and I thought that was awesome. They sell these at Walmart. It's Gerber Bear Grylls Survival Kit. Alright, so in that you get a little survival guide, you get some stormproof matches, a little bit of cordage, and there's enough there to put up a nice little plastic shelter. There's a little whistle right here and some wire. Now I really don't think that wire is going to do all that much as far as trapping or whatever. There is a little cotton ball in here you can use for tinder, and a little bit of string for something. You know, you can always use string. Maybe you could even use it as a form of tinder. So, but I thought it was really nice. These matches are very, very good. A lot of good information inside this little pocket guide. So, I mean, I think it cost about $5. But now since it's the nice pouch, it really is a nice pouch. I went ahead and decided, well, you never know, you might need some other things. So I put a deck of cards in here. If you're stranded out, you got nothing else to do, might as well play some solitaire. If you're with someone, then play some poker, you know. Something to pass the time. And then also this little bitty knife, but it's pretty nice. It really is. Just a little lock blade Gerber knife. These also come from Walmart. And I just keep it in here. It's by no means, I've never even used this knife. However, I will keep it in here because as soon as I get rid of it or take it out of here, I'm going to need it. So that's usually the way my luck goes. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep it in this little pouch here, along with the cards and along with the little survival kit. But I do like the little survival kit. I've just never opened it and used it. But you never know. You never know when you're going to need to. It doesn't really weigh anything or take up any space, so therefore I'll keep it right there in my bag. People always say, if you don't use it, don't keep it in there. Well, I'm one of those that if it's given to me and I might need to use it, I'm going to keep it there as long as it's not hindering me and taking up any more space. So I've got some actual rope here. It's got decently high tensile strength. I think 550 pounds. You can cut off little pieces, use it as tinder. It's stretchy, so you know, if you cut off 10 feet and you need 11, just stretch it, tie it on. This can make some really, really good shelters. And it's camo. So I got this at Lowe's. And I only got 50 feet in here. It comes in 100 foot for like, I don't know, $17. It's really, really good rope though. I use it all the time. And use it out in the woods a lot. So it's just really, I just like it. I guess because it's inexpensive, but really good. You know, I've not had any problems with it. If you have to cut it, make sure you burn those ends because it will unravel though. All right, I do have a little fishing kit. Now this one, I replaced my old one with this one. Basically the same thing, except I had a stick in there. This time I actually have a little piece of PEX tube because it's lighter in weight. But I've got about, I don't know, about 25 yards of 15-pound monofilament line. I've got 6 hooks that are one size, 6 hooks that are another. I've got little bobbers, some sinkers, and I've got some black tape in here. A roll of black tape, just because black tape is really good to have. Any type of tape is really good to have. But as far as bait goes, I can always find bait in my region. It doesn't matter if it's what time of year it is. I can always get bait. I've never been out and not been able to find bait. So I just decided to not go with the stuff that you get in the stores. Something could happen, my whole bag smell like that stuff. So I'll just use the bait that I find out there, and it'll work great. So anyway, this is my little fishing kit. It'll work all right. Okay, here is just a little shelter piece here. It's got these little straps on here. It's about probably a 7x4, and it actually went over another tent, a dome tent, and so I didn't really want the tent. This right here will work just fine. That's all I need. If I need to put it over wood or my gear, it's no problem. I can string this up between a couple of trees, make some stakes, and they just clip right on. These are stretchy. That part down there. So anyway, this right here is really good. I love this, and it works very, very well. Lightweight, and that's pretty much all I need in a short period of time. So now I've got 4 zip ties. Never know when you're going to need zip ties. These things are great. If I need to, I can use them to hook the little shelter up. You can use it to fix things, repair things, you know. So many different uses for this. So I just keep them right down in the bottom, along with 2 contractor bags that are 6 mil. They're very big, 55 gallon, I believe. And so many uses for them, for bedding, for shelter, for carrying things. One thing that I don't hear a lot of people talking about whenever they talk about these. Everybody says, you know, you can put leaves in there and sleep on them and stuff like that. If you're not around any water, if there's no streams, no lakes or ponds, and you seriously need some water. So you can take a bag and fill it full of leaves from the tree, pine needles, whatever, tie it up at the top, and then lay it in the sun, okay? And what that's going to do is all of the moisture is going to come out of those leaves. It's not going to taste good. I bet it will not taste good. But you're going to have drinkable water inside this bag. Then you simply remove the leaves and you've got moisture. So that is something to think about. I've seen it done with clear bags. I think black bags will work as well. So that is the entire content of my bag, my go bag, because that's all I really need in a 72-hour period. Because I have means to get other food, I've got means to purify water. I've got everything I need right here. So whenever you're thinking of your bug out bag, you've got to personalize it to fit you. Not everybody else's bug out bag is going to fit you. Mine's not going to fit everyone else. You know, I've got a certain way I do things, just like everyone does. So use your imagination and use what you know you need. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.